Commander Jake Morrison's gaze swept across Kepler Station from his patrol ship. 12 years he'd spent policing this sector, ensuring ships had their papers, keeping the peace. It was tedious, yet necessary. Kepler buzzed with life, a galactic hub where Vorthack traders bartered crystals, ethereals shared their haunting music, and even the stony granites sold their metals. Jake had seen it all. "Commander, we're picking up something unusual," announced Kess, a young Saurian officer, pointing a clawed hand at his screen. "Huge ship, really huge." Jake drifted over. Without planetary gravity, movement meant pushing off surfaces. He gripped Kess's station, peering at the display. The vessel dwarfed most trade ships. "What kind of ship is that?" Jake asked. Kess's yellow eyes blinked in confusion. "The computer says human, but that can't be right." A cold dread settled in Jake's stomach. Humans. They had been exiled long ago. The old alien tale spoke of them as dangerous, wild, prone to conflict and endless questions. So, 37 years passed. The galaxy had banished them to the void beyond the outer rim. "Get me the station, Commander," Jake ordered. Commander Vexer's scarred face, a veteran of old wars, filled the main screen. His voice was a gravelly rumble. "What is it, Morrison?" "Sir, a human ship is approaching. A massive one." Vexer's silence stretched. "Human? Are you certain?" "It's broadcasting archaic human codes, sir. Very old." Jake forwarded the data. As they waited, the ship loomed larger on his screen, dark gray, bristling with weaponry. A warship, not a merchant vessel. "I've checked the archives," Vexer finally stated. "This ship, it's called the Iron Vengeance. It was presumed destroyed in the last battle before the humans departed. Yet here it is. What do we do, sir?" "We adhere to the law. Even humans possess the right to request safe passage. But watch them closely, Morrison. Very closely." The Iron Vengeance glided into the docking bay. Jake had never seen anything like it up close. Black metal, sharp angles, gun ports everywhere. Even at rest, it radiated a readiness for combat. A group of humans emerged. Jake had only heard stories. They were smaller than most aliens, but their movements were distinct, quick, alert, as if perpetually on guard. The man at the front, clearly their leader, was tall for a human, with short brown hair and gray eyes. His uniform, though clean, bore the marks of use. He walked with a soldier's bearing. "I am Captain Alex Carter of the Earth's ship Iron Vengeance," the human stated, his voice calm yet firm. "I request permission to speak with the station commander." Jake drifted down to meet them. "I am Commander Morrison. Welcome to Kepler Station, Captain Carter." Carter nodded. "Thank you, Commander. We come in peace." The words felt alien from a human. Jake recalled the stories. Human wars, exploding ships, burning planets. These humans looked nothing like the savage fighters of old. "Follow me," Jake instructed. They moved through the station's corridors. Other aliens paused, staring, some with fear, others with curiosity. The humans ignored them, walking with purpose. Commander Vexer awaited them in his office, his cold yellow eyes appraising the humans. "Captain Carter, I never thought I would see humans in this part of space again." "Times change, Commander," Carter replied. "We have learned much during our time away." "Have you now?" Vexer leaned back. "And what brings you here?" "We wish to return to Earth, to our home." Vexer's laugh was harsh. "Earth is no longer yours, human. The crystalline people reside there now. They mine it for its metals." Carter's expression remained unchanged. "We understand, but we still have the right of return. It is in the old laws." "The old laws?" Vexer was silent for a long moment. "Yes, I suppose you do have that right, even after all this time." "We have changed, Commander. We are not the same humans who left. We have learned peace." Jake studied Carter's face. He seemed calm, honest, yet something felt off. Perhaps it was the way Carter's eyes subtly scanned his surroundings, or how his men stood ready. even while speaking of peace. Very well, Vexor conceded. You may pass through our space, but you will be watched. Any sign of the old human violence, and you will be sent away again. We understand, Carter said. Thank you for your kindness. After the humans departed, Jake remained in Vexor's office. Commander, something about them feels wrong. Jake mused. I know, Vexor agreed, but they have the right to try and return home. And they do seem different from the old stories, calmer. Perhaps that's what truly worries me. That night, Jake watched the Iron Vengeance depart, a dark silhouette against the blackness of space. As it vanished, he thought he saw a brief flash, like a signal, but a closer look revealed nothing. In his quarters aboard the Iron Vengeance, Captain Carter spoke softly into a comm device. Control, this is Carter. Phase 1 complete. They believe we have been broken by Exile. A distant voice responded. Understood, Carter. How do they seem? Carter smiled, the first genuine smile since arriving, and it was not pleasant. Soft, Control. Very soft. They have forgotten what we are capable of. Good. Continue to Earth. Let them see what they want to see. Roger that. Carter out. The captain gazed out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth, home. After 37 long years, it was time to go home, but not as the aliens expected. Not as the broken humans they thought they had exiled. The galaxy was about to remember why it had feared humans in the first place. The Iron Vengeance ghosted through space. Captain Alex Carter stood on the bridge, watching the stars, each one bringing them closer to places that once belonged to humans, places that were home. Next stop is Mars, sir, announced Lieutenant Sam Rogers, a young officer born in exile who had only seen the red planet in old pictures. The crystalline people have mining operations there now. Carter nodded. Remember, Sam, we are humble. We are broken. We are sorry for what humans did long ago. Yes, sir, but it's hard to act weak when we're not. That's what makes us strong now, Carter said quietly. We learned to control ourselves. They never did. The ship emerged from faster-than-light travel near Mars. The red planet was transformed. Massive machines scarred its surface. Huge pits devoured the ground. The beautiful red dust was gone, replaced by gray dirt and metal structures. They've been busy, observed Dr. Ellen Price, the ship's science officer, older than most of the crew. She remembered Earth before the exile. Mars used to be beautiful, red and wild and free. Now it's just a mine, Carter said, his voice calm, but his hands clenched into tight fists. A message arrived from the planet. Human ship, this is Mars Control. State your business. Carter, seated in his captain's chair, adopted a weary, saddened expression. Mars Control, this is Captain Carter. We are returning to Earth. We ask permission to stop and buy supplies. Permission granted. Dock at Station 5. Administrator Za will meet with you. Station 5 was built into a mountain, ugly and purely functional. No art, no beauty, just metal and machines. As the Iron Vengeance docked, Carter saw crystalline workers moving like insects. Administrator Za awaited them, a tall, thin figure of living crystal, his voice like wind chimes. Captain Carter, how interesting to see humans again. I have heard stories about your people. We hope they were not too terrible, Administrator, Carter said, keeping his voice humble and quiet. Oh, they were. Violence and chaos, wherever humans went. But you seem different, calmer. Exile taught us many things. We learned that fighting only brings pain. Zal led them through station. Everywhere they went, Carter and his men observed, remembering. Guard placements, weapon types, communication codes, defense system weaknesses. We have made Mars much more efficient, Zal boasted. Humans wasted so much time on useless things, beauty, art, emotions. We focus on what matters. Profit. They passed a window overlooking the planet's surface. Mining machines had carved deep gashes. The ancient polar ice caps were gone, the thin atmosphere thick with dust and smoke. "You have certainly changed things," Carter remarked. "For the better. Mars produces 10 times more resources now than when humans lived here. We removed all the waste." "What about the humans who lived here?" Carter asked. "Where did they go?" "Labor camps on Earth. They work in the factories now. Much better use of their time than the silly things they used to do." Carter's officer, Sam Rogers, stepped closer. His face was calm, but Carter saw the anger in his eyes. "What silly things?" "Oh, you know. Families, music, stories, useless human emotions. We have made them more productive." "I see," Carter said. "How wise of you." That night, Carter met with his senior officers in a secure room. "Dr. Price has been busy," he noted. "I made contact with the underground," she said quietly. "There are still humans hiding on Mars, in the deep caves. They've been waiting for us." "What did they tell you?" Carter asked. "Bad things. The crystalline people work humans to death in the mines. Children are taken from their parents at age 5. Families are broken up. Anyone who complains disappears." Rogers slammed his fist on the table. "We should blast this place to dust right now." "No," Carter said firmly. "We stick to the plan. We learn everything first. Then we act." "How can you stay calm, sir? They're killing our people." Carter looked at the young officer. "Because anger without planning is just rage. And rage is what got us exiled in the first place. We learned to be better than that." The next morning, they departed Mars, but not before Carter sent a coded message to the humans hiding in the caves. Help was coming soon. The Iron Vengeance visited 6 more human colonies over the next month, each a grim repetition. Aliens had taken over, optimizing everything, stripping away waste, beauty, humanity. On Europa, Jupiter's ice moon, the Varak had transformed the underground oceans into fish farms. The former human inhabitants now toiled in processing plants, cleaning fish for 16 hours a day. On Titan, the ethereals had erected colossal cities in the clouds. Humans lived in the dark underground, mining methane gas, never seeing sunlight. At Proxima Colony, the Granite people had simply annihilated the human settlements, deeming humans too messy. It was now a military base. At each stop, Carter played his role, humble, apologetic, grateful for alien kindness. And at each stop, he gathered intelligence, troop numbers, weapon types, communication codes, weak points. Dr. Price connected with human survivors everywhere they went. "The underground network is larger than the aliens know," she reported to Carter after they left Titan. "Humans have been hiding and waiting for 37 years. They never gave up hope." "Someone did," Carter affirmed. Finally, they reached Earth. The blue planet looked the same from space, but Carter knew it would be different up close. The aliens had been here longest, had the most time to impose their will. Earth control granted them permission to land where New York City once stood. The city was gone, replaced by a sprawling industrial complex, smoke billowing from thousands of factories. The air was thick and gray. Governor Quilnex, a fat, lethargic-looking Saurian, adorned with golden jewels, met them at the spaceport. He moved slowly, like someone unaccustomed to haste. "Captain Carter, welcome to Earth, or as we call it now, Production Center Prime." "Thank you, Governor. It's good to be home." "Home? Yes, I suppose it was once, but we have made it so much better, so much more useful." They rode through the city in a ground car. Where Central Park once lay, there was now a colossal factory. The Statue of Liberty was gone, replaced by a monument to alien efficiency. "We produce more goods here than any other planet," Quilnex bragged. "The humans are excellent workers, once you train them properly." "Train them?" Carter asked. "Oh yes, we had to break some bad habits. Thinking for themselves, asking questions, dreaming of better things. Very inefficient behaviors." Carter maintained his calm facade. "How did you train them?" "Discipline, hard work, proper nutrition. We give them just enough food to work, but not enough to cause trouble. Very scientific. They stopped at a worksite. Hundreds of humans in gray uniforms were building something, their faces thin and tired. Guards with electric sticks watched them. An old man stumbled under a heavy load, dropping it. A guard raised his stick to strike him. The old man looked up, his eyes meeting Carter's human uniform. "Pete Walker," he whispered. "I remember you. You were on the Titan Defense Force." Carter stepped forward. "I'm sorry, I don't remember you." "Probably not. I was just a mechanic. But I remember the uniform. The Earth Defense Force. I never thought I'd see it again." Governor Quillnecks pushed between them. "Get back to work, human. Don't bother our guests." Pete looked at Carter one last time. "We never stopped believing," he said quietly. "We knew someone would come back." Then he picked up his load and walked away. That night, Carter stood alone in his quarters on the ship, speaking into his secure communicator. "Control, this is Carter. I have completed the reconnaissance report. They are soft, weak, stupid. They think they have broken us. Good. Are you ready for the next phase?" Carter looked out at the Earth below. His Earth, his home. The place where humans had lived and loved and dreamed for thousands of years. "More than ready, Control. Send the fleet." "The fleet is already moving. They will be there in 3 days." Carter smiled. "Then in 3 days, the galaxy will remember what humans really are." Far beyond the edge of known space, where no stars gave light and no aliens had ever traveled, something moved in the darkness. It was not one ship, but thousands, a fleet so vast it could blot out the stars. Commander Rachel Stone stood on the bridge of the massive station called Haven's Edge. She was born in exile, like most of the younger humans. She had never seen Earth, but she dreamed of it every night. The blue world where her people came from, the home they had been forced to leave. "Commander, message from Captain Carter," said her communications officer, Lisa Beld. Rachel took the message tablet and read it, her face hardening as she absorbed the alien atrocities committed on Earth, Mars, and all the human colonies. When she finished, she looked up at the stars. "Send word to Admiral Phillips. Tell her it's time." The message rippled across the dark fleet. On hundreds of ships, humans prepared for war. But these were not the humans the galaxy remembered. These were different. Harder, smarter, more dangerous. Admiral Kate Phillips received the message in her flagship, the Revenge. 60 years old, she had been fighting since childhood. She remembered the day humans were forced to leave their homes, the tears, the anger, the promise to return. "All ship commanders report to the briefing room," she ordered. The holographic meeting room, filled with the images of ship captains from across the fleet, men and women who had spent their lives preparing for this moment. They had one goal: take back what was theirs. "You've all read Captain Carter's report," Admiral Phillips began. "The aliens think we are broken. They think 37 years of exile made us weak." Captain Ben Foster, commander of the destroyer Lightning, spoke up. "They're about to learn how wrong they are." "Yes, they are. Dr. Clark, give them the intelligence summary." Dr. Tony Clark, the fleet's chief planner, stepped forward, a thin man with gray hair. He could recall every detail of every alien ship and base. "The aliens have grown lazy. They have been at peace too long. Their defenses are weak. Their response times are slow. They think no one would dare attack them." "What about their fleets?" asked Captain Maria Rodriguez of the Wolfpack Squadron. "Scattered. Most of their ships are doing trade patrol or keeping their own people in line. They never expected a real war." Admiral Phillips nodded. "We will hit them fast and hard, before they can organize, before they can call for help, before they know what's happening." "What about the humans still on the planets?" asked Colonel Jack Turner, the Marine commander. "We can't just bomb everything." "We won't have to. Dr. Price has been building an underground network for years. They know we're coming. They'll be ready to help." A young captain named Amy Sullivan raised her hand. She had been born on a warship and had never known peace. "Admiral, what if they surrender? What if they beg for mercy?" The room fell quiet. Admiral Phillips looked at each face on the screen. These people had lost everything: their homes, their families, their childhoods. Some had spent their whole lives in exile. They had 37 years to show mercy, she said finally. They chose not to. Now they faced the consequences. The briefing ended. The captains returned to their ships. Across the fleet, humans made final preparations. They checked weapons. They said prayers. They looked at pictures of Earth they had never seen except in old videos. Lieutenant Amy Sullivan walked through her ship, the Fury. Her crew was young like her. They had been trained from birth for this mission. They knew every alien ship design, every weapon type, every weakness. "Are you scared?" asked her gunner, Carl Davis. "No," Amy said. "I'm excited. We're finally going home." The fleet began to move, thousands of ships, all painted black to hide in space. They moved without light, without radio signals, without any sign they existed. They had learned to be invisible during their years in exile. The first target was not Earth. It was Centauri Prime, the main communication hub for the alien alliance. If they could take it out, the aliens could not warn each other about the attack. Captain Chris Anderson commanded the first attack group. His ship, the Retribution, led 50 others toward the heavily defended station. They moved slowly, carefully, like hunters stalking prey. "Sensors show 300 alien ships around the station," reported his scanning officer. "Any sign they see us?" "No, sir. Our stealth systems are working perfectly." Anderson smiled. The aliens had made their ships pretty and comfortable. The humans had made theirs invisible and deadly. All ships prepare for attack. "Remember, we want to capture the station, not destroy it. We need their communication equipment." The human ships moved into position around Centauri Prime. The alien defenders had no idea death was coming for them. They were relaxed, bored, thinking about going home to their families. "Sir, we're in position," reported Anderson's tactical officer. "Good. Send the signal to Admiral Phillips. Tell her we're ready to announce our return." Admiral Phillips received the message. She stood on her bridge and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth. Home. After 37 years, they were finally going home. "All ships, this is Admiral Phillips. Today we take back what was stolen from us. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you try to destroy humanity. Today we go home." She paused, thinking of all the humans who had died in exile, all the children who had grown up without seeing their homeworld, all the dreams deferred and hopes crushed. "Remember, we are not the same species they exiled. We are harder. We are smarter. We are united. And we are very, very angry. Attack." The order went out across the fleet. At Centauri Prime, Captain Anderson's ships decloaked all at once. One moment the space around the station was empty. The next moment it was full of human warships. The aliens had seconds to react. Their defensive systems came online automatically. Warning signals screamed across their communication networks. Officers ran to their battle stations, but it was too late. The humans had spent 37 years planning this moment. Every move was calculated. Every shot was perfect. The alien ships exploded in silent flowers of light. Their weapons could not penetrate human shields. Their tactics were outdated. Their courage failed when they realized they were facing not the broken humans of the past, but something new and terrible. "Station is surrendering, sir," reported Anderson's communications officer. "Good. Send in the Marines. Secure the communication center. I want to send a message to every alien world in the galaxy." Colonel Turner's Marines boarded the station. They moved through the corridors like shadows. taking control of everything important. The aliens they found were hiding in closets and under desks, too scared to fight. Within an hour, Centauri Prime belonged to humanity. Admiral Phillips received the confirmation. The first phase was complete. Now the real work began. "Open a channel to all alien worlds," she ordered. The communication officer nodded. "Channel open." Admiral Phillips looked into the camera, her voice calm and cold. "People of the galaxy, this is Admiral Kate Phillips of the Human Defense Fleet. We have returned from exile. We have come home. Any who stand in our way will be destroyed. Any who harm humans will be destroyed. Any who do not surrender immediately will be destroyed." She paused, letting the words sink in. "You tried to break us. You failed. You tried to destroy us. You failed. You tried to make us forget who we are. You failed. We are humanity. We are home. And we are not the same species you remember." The message ended. Across the galaxy, alien leaders watched in horror as their screens filled with images of human warships, vessels they had never seen before, ships that made their own look like toys. On Earth, Governor Quillnex received the message in his office. His hand shook as he watched Admiral Phillips speak. This was not the broken humanity he knew. This was something else, something that made his blood run cold. He pressed his emergency button. "Get me High Command. The humans are back. All of them." But High Command was not answering. The communication lines to Centauri Prime were dead. The humans had cut off the head of the alien alliance. Now the body would thrash around blindly, while humanity reclaimed what was theirs. The war had begun, and the galaxy was about to learn that exile had not broken humanity. It had forged them into something the universe had never seen before, something that would not be stopped. The attack began at dawn on Earth. Governor Quillnex was eating his breakfast when the sky filled with human ships. He dropped his food and ran to the window. Hundreds of black warships hung in the air above the city like angry clouds. "Impossible," he whispered. "Where did they all come from?" His communication device buzzed with emergency calls. "Governor, we're under attack. Human ships everywhere. They're bombing the defense stations." Quillnex grabbed his emergency communicator. "Send word to the fleet. Tell them to get here now." "Sir, we can't reach the fleet. All communications are down. The humans took out Centauri Prime." The governor's legs felt weak. He sat down hard in his chair. "How many ships do they have?" "Don't know, sir. Our sensors can't count them all." Above the city, Captain Maria Rodriguez led her wolf pack of destroyers in their attack run. The alien defense platforms were shooting at them, but their weapons were old and slow. The human ships moved too fast and hit too hard. "Target the orbital guns first," she ordered her squadron. "Then the communication towers. Leave the factories alone. We'll need them later." The alien gunners tried their best, but they had been at peace too long. They missed most of their shots. The few hits they scored bounced off the human shields like raindrops. Maria's ships destroyed the defense platforms in minutes. The alien crews barely had time to send distress signals before their stations exploded. Down on the planet's surface, Colonel Jack Turner's Marines were landing near the human work camps. The alien guards were confused and scared. They had never seen real soldiers before. Most of them ran away when they saw the Marines coming. "Secure the camps," Turner ordered his men. "Get our people to safety first, then we deal with the aliens." Sergeant Paul Davis led his squad through the main work camp. The human prisoners looked up in amazement as soldiers in human uniforms broke down the gates. "We're here to take you home," Davis told them. An old woman started crying. "I knew you'd come back. I knew you wouldn't forget us." "Never," Davis said. "We never forgot." The liberation of the camps went quickly. The alien guards either ran or surrendered. Those who tried to fight were dealt with fast. The Marines had trained for 37 years for this moment. They moved like machines, but they fought like people who had something to prove. At the governor's palace, Quillnex was trying to organize a defense. but his officers were panicking. Reports came in from all over the planet. Human ships landing everywhere, alien bases falling one by one, the communication networks destroyed. "Sir, we should surrender," said his military commander. "We can't fight them. There are too many." Surrender to humans? They're just clever animals. We taught them their place once. We can do it again. "Sir, these are not the same humans we exiled. These are different. They have ships we've never seen, weapons we don't understand. They move like they've been planning this for decades." Before Quillnex could answer, the wall of his office exploded. Through the smoke came Turner himself, followed by 6 Marines. The aliens in the room threw down their weapons and raised their hands. "Governor Quillnex," Turner said calmly, "you are under arrest for crimes against humanity. You can't do this. I am a representative of the Galactic Council. I have diplomatic immunity." Turner smiled. It was not a nice smile. The Galactic Council doesn't exist anymore. We just destroyed their capital. As for diplomatic immunity, you lost that when you enslaved our people. The Marines took Quillnex away. As they did, he could hear the sounds of fighting all over the city, but it wasn't really fighting. It was just aliens running away, while humans took back what was theirs. In space above Earth, the alien fleet finally arrived. Admiral Corrin commanded 60 warships, the largest force the Saurians could gather on short notice. He was confident they could drive off the human raiders, just like the old days. He told his officers, "Humans are brave but stupid. They fight with their hearts instead of their heads. We'll crush them easily." But when his fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel, they found something unexpected. The human ships were waiting for them in perfect formation, not scattered like raiders, but organized like a real navy. "Sir," said a scanning officer, "I count over 200 human ships, all military class, all armed with weapons I don't recognize." Admiral Corrin felt cold fear in his stomach. "That's impossible. Where did they get so many ships?" His answer came in the form of a communication from the human fleet. Admiral Phillips appeared on his screen. She looked older than the humans he remembered from the war, but her eyes were harder. "Admiral Corrin," she said, "I am Admiral Kate Phillips. You have one chance to surrender. Take it." Corrin tried to sound brave. "Human, you are outnumbered and outgunned. Surrender now, and we might let you live." Phillips smiled. "Outnumbered? Let me show you something." The space around Corrin's fleet suddenly filled with more human ships. They seemed to appear from nowhere, decloaking all around the alien formation. The aliens found themselves surrounded by over 500 human warships. "Now," Phillips said, "would you like to reconsider?" Corrin looked at his tactical display. The human ships were in perfect position. They could destroy his entire fleet before he could fire a shot. His officers were staring at their screens in shock. "This is impossible," he whispered. "We sent you away. You were broken, defeated." "No," Phillips said. "You sent us to school. You taught us that the galaxy responds only to strength. Thank you for the lesson. I surrender." "Good. Order your ships to power down their weapons and prepare to be boarded." The battle for Earth was over. It had lasted less than 6 hours. The humans had won so completely that most aliens never even got a chance to fight. Dr. Kevin Lee, the fleet's psychological warfare expert, broadcast messages to alien worlds all over the galaxy. "This is what happens to those who harm humanity," he said, showing images of burning alien ships and surrendering governors. "We are not the species you remember. We are what you made us, and we are coming for all of you." The broadcasts had their effect. On dozens of worlds, alien leaders called emergency meetings. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to negotiate. Most just wanted to hide. Captain Nicole Brown was in charge of interrogating captured alien officers. She had been trained to understand how alien minds worked. What scared them? What motivated them? "You thought Exile would break us," she told Admiral Corrin as he sat in his cell. Instead, it taught us focus. You thought taking away our homes would make us weak. Instead, it made us determined. You thought separating us from the galaxy would limit us. Instead, it let us grow. What do you want? Corin asked. Revenge? To rule the galaxy like tyrants. We want what we always wanted, Brown said. To go home. To live in peace. To raise our children without fear. The difference is, now we know how to make sure we get it. And if we resist. Brown's face was calm, but her eyes were cold. Then you'll learn what 37 years of focused anger can accomplish. All across the galaxy, the message was clear. Humanity had returned. They were stronger than before, more united, more dangerous. The species that had been exiled for being too violent had spent decades learning to use violence as a precise tool. The aliens had wanted to teach humanity a lesson. Instead, they had created their own worst nightmare. A human race that had learned to turn their greatest weakness into their greatest strength. The war was far from over. There were still alien fleets to defeat, worlds to liberate, and humans to rescue. But the hardest part was done. The galaxy now knew that humanity was back, and this time, they were not going anywhere. 6 months after the return, the galaxy was a very different place. In the Great Council chambers where alien leaders once made laws to control humans, President Carol Hughes now sat at the head of the table. She was calm and polite as she spoke to the assembled alien representatives. The new trade agreements are fair to everyone, she said, looking at each alien face around the table. Humans will provide protection and technology. You will provide resources and labor. Everyone benefits. The crystalline ambassador raised his crystal hand. President Hughes, what about our mining operations on Mars? We have invested much in those facilities. You may keep them, Hughes said, but you will follow human safety laws now, and you will pay human workers fair wages for their work. But that will reduce our profit significantly. Hughes smiled. It was a polite smile, but there was something cold behind it. Administrator Za said the same thing. Would you like to ask him how that conversation ended? The crystalline ambassador looked down at his notes. Everyone knew what had happened to Za. He was working in the same mines he had once controlled, learning what it felt like to dig in the dirt for 16 hours a day. Commander Jake Morrison sat in the back of the room, watching the proceedings. He was still a patrol officer, but now he worked for humans instead of aliens. The job was similar, but the galaxy felt different, safer in some ways, more dangerous in others. The humans didn't rule through fear like the old alien council had. They ruled through competence. Every human ship was exactly where it needed to be. Every human officer knew exactly what to do. The humans had turned government into a science, just like they had turned war into an art. After the meeting, Morrison walked through the station corridors. The place looked the same, but it felt different. Human security officers stood at key points, but they were relaxed and professional. They didn't need to swagger or threaten. Everyone knew what they were capable of. Dr. Lisa Bennett found Morrison in the observation deck, looking out at the stars. She had been promoted to head of xenobiological studies after the humans took over. Her job was to study how different species could work together peacefully. "How are you adjusting to the new order?" she asked. Morrison sighed. "It's strange. The humans are more polite than the old council ever was, but somehow they're also more frightening." "How so?" "The old council ruled through cruelty and fear. You always knew where you stood with them. The humans rule through excellence. They're so good at everything they do that resisting them seems pointless." Bennett nodded. "I've been studying human psychology since they returned. They're not the same species we exiled. Exile didn't break them, it refined them." "Into what?" "Into the perfect rulers. They learned to control their emotions without losing their humanity. They learned to be efficient without being cruel. They learned to be strong without being bullies. Morrison looked out at a human patrol ship passing by the station. It moved with perfect precision, its crew working like parts of a machine. But he knew those crew members had families they cared about, dreams they pursued, jokes they told each other. "Sometimes I wonder if we created our own replacements," he said. On Earth, the planet was healing. The gray factories were being torn down and replaced with parks and homes. The poisoned air was slowly getting cleaner. Children played in streets where human slaves had once marched to work. Captain Alex Carter walked through what used to be New York. The city was being rebuilt, but not the way it was before. It was better, cleaner, more beautiful. The humans had learned to build things that lasted. Pete Walker, the old man who had recognized Carter's uniform, was now the mayor of the new city. He was old, but his eyes were bright with hope. "Never thought I'd live to see this," Pete said as they watched construction crews working on a new school. "My grandchildren will grow up free." "That was always the plan," Carter said. "We just had to wait for the right time." 37 years is a long time to wait. It gave us time to plan, time to prepare, time to become what we needed to be. They watched human children playing in a park where alien factories once stood. The children laughed and ran and dreamed of a future. They had never known slavery or fear or hopelessness. Admiral Kate Phillips stood on the bridge of her flagship, now orbiting Earth. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Human fleets patrolling trade routes, human colonies being established on new worlds, human scientists making discoveries that would benefit everyone. "Admiral," said her communications officer, "we're receiving a message from the Outer Rim. The exploration fleet has found something interesting." Phillips read the report. Her eyebrows went up. "A new solar system. Uninhabited. Perfect for colonization. Should we send a survey team?" Phillips looked out at the stars. The galaxy was big and full of wonders. There were new worlds to explore, new species to meet, new challenges to face. The human race was no longer trapped on one world or even in one system. They were free to grow and spread and become whatever they chose to be. "Yes," she said. "Send the Pathfinder with a full scientific team. It's time to see what else is out there." In his quarters on the Iron Vengeance, Captain Carter received a message from Admiral Phillips. New worlds to explore, new challenges to face, new opportunities to grow. He thought about the journey that had brought them here. 37 years ago, humans had been angry and chaotic and dangerous. The galaxy had exiled them to teach them a lesson. The lesson had worked, just not the way the aliens intended. Humans had learned control. They had learned patience. They had learned to work together toward a common goal. They had learned to be better than they were, but they had not learned to be weak. Carter opened a communication channel to his bridge crew. "Plot a course for the Outer Rim. We have new worlds to explore." "Yes, sir. Any particular destination?" Carter smiled as he looked at the star charts. So many places to go, so many possibilities ahead. The humans were home now, but home was just the beginning. "Wherever the stars lead us," he said. "We have work to do." Lieutenant Sam Rogers, now a captain of his own ship, received similar orders. He was young and had been born in exile, but now he commanded a vessel that could travel anywhere in the galaxy. The future was full of promise. "Sir," asked his navigator, "what do you think we'll find out there?" Rogers thought about it. They might find new friends or new enemies, new wonders or new dangers, new challenges that would test everything they had learned. "I don't know," he said, "but whatever it is, we'll be ready for it." The human fleet spread out across the galaxy like seeds on the wind, not as conquerors, but as explorers, not to destroy, but to build, not to take, but to give. The galaxy had tried to teach humanity a lesson about power. Instead, humanity had learned a lesson about responsibility. With great strength came great duty. With great ability came great obligation. The aliens had wanted to make humans smaller. Instead, they had made them larger, not in size, but in purpose, not in anger, but in wisdom. The exile was over. The banishment had ended, but the journey was just beginning. High above Earth, the human fleet stood ready. Ships filled with explorers and scientists and dreamers. Ships that carried not weapons of war, but tools of creation. Ships that would carry humanity to places no one had ever seen before. The stars were calling, and humanity was ready to answer. In the observation deck of his flagship, Admiral Carter looked out at the infinite darkness, filled with infinite light. Each star was a possibility. Each world was a chance to start again. "We have returned," he said quietly to the stars. "And now we move forward." The galaxy had taught humanity that exile could be endured. Now humanity would teach the galaxy that exile could be overcome. The banishment had ended in fire, but from that fire, something new had been born. Something stronger, something better, something that would never be exiled again.